Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for returning subscribers and members. What we do here, if you are new, is we react to the most disturbing and creepy videos from the internet, and we go through the latest. If you like what you see, don't forget to sub up, turn on the notifications, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. With that being said, let's roll.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes, I love a bit of time travel. Time travel is real. It is real theoretically. So people can time travel. And I think there's a lot of videos in there which I saw years ago. And they were more real then because it was before like all the AI and stuff and what can actually be done. We've had phones for way longer than they say. Like in my generation, mobile phones come a thing. That's crazy. Not really. I don't think so. So the lady walking down the street, that was back in like, I don't know, the 80s, I think, or 70s maybe. And it's a video camera of her on a mobile phone. Like that is sus. So that one is a genuine, legit one, in my opinion. And then, yeah, I mean, the 2026, obviously you can fake this stuff. It is easy to know. I could just go and get a cap printed 2026 and we would do it. But I don't know. It just feels real. And I think time travel is a thing. So it's harder now to with the technology we've got to distinguish whether the actual footage we're watching is real or fake. But genuinely, I think time travel is a thing we can do, especially when we talk about, fourth dimension. There is no time or space. So that must, mean that we've got the ability to fast forward, rewind, or time travel. Yeah, pretty cool.
I was on the phone with my boyfriend at 9:59, and I looked at the clock and I was like, let me go to bed. Let me let you go because I want to go to bed at exactly 10, lights out. Within the minute, I want to have my eyes closed, everything off, because I like to go to bed at even times. And hung up on him, closed my eyes, and then I was like, well, let me set an alarm really quick so I don't sleep until some obscene hour. Turn my phone back on. I'm setting an alarm. I just happened to glance at the time because I'm like, oh, okay, I want to make sure it's not 10:01, because if it's 10:01, I'm going to have to wait till 10:30 to go to sleep, so I'm going to scroll on TikTok for 29 minutes. Check the time. I look at the time. It's 3:30 a.m. Like on the dot, 3:30 a.m. And I was like, okay, that's not right. So I check my iPad and I check my computer, and they both say 3:30 a.m. And so I go downstairs and I check the clock on the stove, 3:31 a.m. I'm like checking every clock in the house. It's 3:30. And I'm like, did I just die and come back to life like 5.5 hours later? Because that's what it feels like. I genuinely don't know what just happened. Like, I guess I was asleep, but it was like a stream of consciousness though. Like I had the same thought when I woke up that I had when I was going to bed. Like, I need to check and set my alarm before it turns 10:01, or I'm gonna have to stay up until 10:30. Like, that was the thought process I had. And I literally blinked. Like, I literally blinked. Next day, 5.5 hours later, I checked like all the messages I had sent right before I went to bed, and like sure enough, they were like delivered 5.5 hours, 5 hours before. And I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? What just happened? Like, it literally, I just ceased to exist in between 10 and 3:30, apparently, because I have no recollection. Like, it, bam, The only thing I can equate this to is whenever I got my wisdom teeth taken out and I went under anesthesia and I was counting down, and then all of a sudden I was waking up and they were telling me that I was done, and I started crying because I was scared because it didn't feel right. I felt like I was being messed with. And then I had a nap a couple years ago that I remember was like this. Like, I literally blinked and then it was like dark outside and I had gone to bed when it was light, and I remember thinking that was super weird. But this is much weirder because I wasn't that tired when I went to bed, and that time that I took that nap, I was dog tired. I was so tired. But so it was explainable. This is not explainable because I wasn't that tired and I woke up with the exact same thought. Like, can anyone explain to me what kind of sleep that is? Because I've been trying to research it, but I can't put it into words to form a Google search. So if anyone knows, like if there's a medical professional that knows what that kind of sleep is called, please let me know, because I'm fascinated and freaked out at the same time. Okay.
Yes, medical condition is not. I think what you've just done there is traveled through a different reality dimension, or you've time traveled, or something to do with them. Or you may have just been abducted by aliens. I don't know. Either or. But I've been thinking about this sort of stuff, and you know, this daylight saving stuff that Donald Trump's just come out about. He's basically saying, like, we got to stop this losing an hour because you don't know how long you got to live, and your granny can die or something. I don't know. Unalive. I mean, unalive, not die, unalive, because you're not allowed to say these words apparently. I don't know. But maybe this is how they do it. Like, because we're all consciously aware that we've got to change the clocks, go back in time or go into the future. This is when CERN turns on and works with our consciousness, because we're all connected apparently. And then maybe because we're all like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose an hour or we're gonna gain an hour. That's when they switch it on, goes into a different dimension. Because I've had a lot of reports like people. Clocks are going all weird, and my clock, I can confirm this. Have not happened for a long time, but there was a phase where my clock froze, digital clock on my computer. Someone who watches this channel said, "Yeah, it's this going in your computer," but I got a brand new computer. You know what I mean? Like, it's top spec. It's a top of the range computer, and also it hasn't happened since. But I went through a big phase, so I think it's got something to do with CERN. That's my opinion.
So the ones that abducted you were not part of the Federation?
Yeah, they were actually a part of the government organizations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that after you remote viewed somewhere and then
No, it wasn't. It just happened to be that I was at, the wrong place at the wrong time, essentially. And then where I was located was about 5 miles away from a military base. So they were just around, and the way that it was described to me was they were wondering why, as a human, I had such a high frequency. So they pretty much took me for curiosity, and then they chipped me to track me. Yeah, to see what I was doing that was so different from the other humans.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't make my mind up. I've got lots of theories, lots of different theories on all this stuff with aliens and stuff. Like, I think that there's people... I'm starting to think that there's, I'm in the word, like, gods that are running this place. And that gods with a small g. And maybe not so nice gods. And maybe, if there is, let's just say, you know what I mean? Let's go with the Greeks, for instance. Like, they're very human natured, but they've got abilities and powers and stuff, and great advanced technology. It's always been here, and they're playing out a script. Like, they would have all these spaceships. I'm doing the flashy hand thing again. Flying around, they'd be able to do all that, wouldn't they? And work out how to vibrate their body to walk through walls and all that sort of stuff. And if they want to take someone off because they think, well, they're at a high frequency, they probably could do it. And then there is probably people from different realities or dimensions, or I don't know. Like, the world is crazy. If it's a simulation, there could be lots of different simulations, and we are literally like, what's that film? Was it Wreck-It Ralph, where you're in a game and you can go across to different games? Like, we're all connected through like a circuit board. And we can go off, jump in, can work out how to get in. So you might be Donkey Kong, but if you work out where you'll meet up in the motherboard, you might be able to work off how to get into Space Invaders. So you're playing Space Invaders and suddenly Donkey Kong's there. That's what I'm thinking of our reality. That's where my mind is at, peeps. It's a scary place. It really is. And it changes all the time. So I could be telling you something, oh, this could be it, but then it changes the next day because I'm never going to believe anything. You know, I take all this information and I sit on it.
I got the distinct feeling that God is actually the false God.
Oh my God.
And he has always been the one wearing the sheep's clothing, like wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh my
and that
God.
when we all die, the shield's like the veil's going to be removed and revealed, and all along the true person that we should have been following was going to be Lucifer.
That is wild, but it makes so much sense.
But I never studied it further.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, if you read the Old Testament, and that is where God's from. One I don't get is that he speaks to the people of Israel, the nation. He is the God of that nation, Israel. That didn't make sense for me, but I carried on reading, and there's a lot of nefarious stuff that goes on in the Bible. But the one that sticks out to me, to give you an example, is he's at war with, I think it's Egypt. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of this stuff, like the specifics. But basically, he's at war with a country. They have his people there, and he wants to release them. And he goes back and forth with doing different things. And he says in the book, basically, he's going to make the guy stubborn, so he don't let him go, so he can keep doing these things. And the last one, and this is the thing for me that sticks out, because the last part of his act is to kill everybody's firstborn child. Or unalive, whatever you want to call it. And for me, like that, if somebody did that in this day and age, like there was a king trying to get his people from a different country, I mean, the kids ain't done anything wrong, right? But you know, that's what he's doing. So if we are looking at it, and people are going to say, well, it was a different time, blah blah blah. But no, you killing somebody's firstborn child of a nation, then that's not good back then or now. So that makes sense, and you don't need a scripture translator to work that out. You don't have to read it in 48 different languages to work out that's not a good thing to do. So yeah, that's got me like way off it. And that's what then you start listening to like the Gnosticism, and actually what this world is run by. It sort of makes sense. New Testament is different. That I think that is to do with Jesus, and I haven't got there yet, so I'm not sure what's going on. But his teachings are of a nicer level, as far as I'm concerned. But Old Testament doesn't make any sense to me.
Tomorrow, announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this, and I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people, put together by Tulsi Gabbard, and that's going to be released tomorrow. We have a tremendous amount of paper. You've got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. I said, just don't redact. You can't redact. But we're going to be releasing the JFK files, and that would be tomorrow. Do you have anything else to add to that, Carolyn? So that's a big announcement. They've been waiting for that for decades. Then I said during the campaign I'd do it, and I'm a man of my word. So tomorrow you have the JFK files. What time will they be released? Tomorrow afternoon. Okay.
Have you seen what's in the files? Have you read them?
I've heard about them.
Was there anything interesting?
It's going to be very interesting.
Was there an executive summary supplied to you as president?
No, I'm not doing summaries. You'll write your own summaries. It's many pages. Is it 80,000 pages? Approximately 80,000 pages. So it's a lot of stuff. And you'll make your own determination.
That's huge. That is huge, people, because that is the start. Like, if we find some nefarious, I'm saying that a lot. That is my word at the moment. Nefarious stuff going on in there, then that's just going to, open a can of worms. And whoever's been trying to keep this stuff covered up, it's just going to go from back then, and we're going to just get more released. So, happy days. Donald Trump is doing good stuff in the face of it. So, well done, Donald Trump. Well done.
Everyone's aware, aren't they, that they changed the Statue of Liberty's face? Yeah, the Statue of Liberty literally used to have a different face. So why did they actually change the Statue of Liberty's face? Because to me, I can see a resemblance to a certain someone. A certain someone that used to be the king of rock and roll. If you struggle with a bit of cognitive dissonance, then you might struggle to see it. But I can see it even down to the nose and the lips. It It doesn't take too much to work out that the Statue of Liberty is actually the statue of Lucifer, the light bearer. And when you realise that Lucifer, the angel of deceit, the light bearer, wants to be worshipped without people knowing that they're worshipping him. That is the true works of Lucifer, the light bearer, the angel of deceit. Obviously, this was just for entertainment, guys. Obviously, the Statue of Liberty was not a representation of Elvis. That is just crazy. And the Statue of Liberty is most definitely not the statue of Lucifer, the light bearer. I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
Yeah, that did look just like Elvis. I said that before he even showed Elvis. So, oh, that looks like Elvis. And then boom, there was Elvis. And has he been changed? That's interesting to know. I think also there is change around his ankles. There's been a lot of stuff on the Statue of Liberty, which would say that is the light bearer, Lucifer, the light bearer. And if he does look like Elvis, then that is a bit strange. And also, there's some people that think Elvis looks like this old boy in a church, but also links to Donald Trump. There's I think Flat Earth guy did a video thing where they did the faces. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're all on Earth. You know what I mean? Having a big tear up. I think there's a lot of like weird stuff going on. And I'm trying to find out where the good side is. I know there is a good side, but they got to be here somewhere, right?
Do I exist in the same reality as everybody else, or is this some sort of social experiment or sandbox? What the fuck is going on?
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Fight, fight!
Come, committed to find and owning Gaza.
New territory.
I mean, will we still need humans? Not for most things.
Do we all have the same internet access, or do we have different internets? Is my internet the same as your internet? Is this stuff happening? Is this really reality?
That is exactly where I'm at, people. I don't know where I am at, what reality. I don't know if like we've always been in this reality or we've shifted in this reality. But this is my point of what's going on in this world right now. So Bohemian Grove, weird rituals going on with the elites. I mean, you look at what's going on, all the stuff going on with, missing people and, rituals. And then you look back at the Bible and it's the same sort of, rituals and sacrifices was going on. So for some reason, we look at the stuff in today and think, I can't believe this is going on with certain arrests, with certain people, in a celebrity status. But then we look back at, what we call gods in the Old Testament and, the blood sacrifices that they want and stuff. Like, it's, I don't know. Crazy world.
Jesus and God were actually at war with each other. See, God demands obedience, fear, and blood sacrifices, but Jesus is all about love and forgiveness, not about mandatory goat murder. So why does it seem like Jesus is the opposite of God? Turns out, books banned from the Bible reveal what's really going on here. In the Secret Supper, Jesus drops a bombshell. The God who created this world is actually the devil. Honestly, wouldn't that explain a lot? Jesus said, "Then Satan took his seat above the firmament. He commanded the earth to bring forth all living things." Jesus then reveals that we all used to be angels, but Satan trapped us in human bodies and wiped our memories. Then, in the secret book of John, Jesus literally says that he and all of us come from a different God called the One. He said, "The One rules all." It's not right to think of it as a God. It is more than just God. According to Gnostics, Jesus came to reveal that we don't need fake religions because we're already divine. In the Gospel of Judas, Jesus laughs at the disciples for praying, saying, "You're not doing this because you want to, but because through this your God will be praised." He's laughing because they're worshiping the wrong God. Remember, all of this is a metaphor. Jesus represents knowledge, the God of the Bible represents blind obedience. So which side are you on?
Oh, thank you. You've just explained it. Basically, where I'm going. This is kind of what I'm feeling, But don't take my word for it. You know what I mean? It's just an opinion today. Tomorrow could be completely different, peeps. So don't be offended by anything on here. I'm just putting things out there. Take what resonates for you and leave if it don't. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of belief systems out there, and yeah, you're entitled to do what you want, when you want, how you want. That's cool.
Very interesting comment. It says, my son always told me that when he wasn't born yet, there was a man who told him that he had to choose his parents before he could go to Earth. He told me that it looked like windows and that he saw different parents behind the windows and that he could choose which parents would give him new life lessons. And he's now 18 and doesn't remember it. But this comment under it says, my daughter told me something very similar. This is actually very common. I've received thousands of comments from people whose children remembered what happened before they were born. And what makes it even more interesting, in this book, Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, he brings 7,000 people under hypnosis over 25 years. And while under hypnosis, they describe everything that happens after they died in a previous lifetime, including looking into future lifetimes where they can choose their parents and then making that choice to live that lifetime that's going to help them learn the most lessons in this life. So that means this life that we're living isn't just random. We actually chose this specific life. And so my question for you is, how's your choice? How do you like your life? Are you learning the lessons? Do you feel like there's a lot of bad stuff happening to you? Do you feel like everything's happening for you? Are you using every situation to evolve and grow? Drop it in the comments. I would love to hear how this life is going for you. And also, if your kid said some wildly reality-bending thing, drop it in the comments. And if you're interested in learning about how you can uncover your past lives from home using past life regression hypnosis, you can get my free past life hypnosis masterclass. The link is in my bio.
Yeah, I mean, that just blows the whole thing open again, doesn't it? This is what I mean. Like, you watch one video and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it could be it. And you watch another one, you're like, well, how does that fit? They don't fit in the puzzle. So who is asking you for what parents? Aye, crazy. So that's a learning school, a life lesson learning school. So this is all just a lesson to come and learn something. And everybody knows it's all just a shizzle show. Yeah, I don't know. Simulation for how to react when you're in a complete shizzle show of a world. That's the only thing I can think of.
There is such a thing as an ancient conspiracy theory. It's this.
Former fraud investigator Jimmy Corsetti, and now ancient site researcher.
You have the site of Göbekli Tepe, made up of sophisticated pillars, almost 7,000 years older than Stonehenge. We're talking about arguably the most mysterious ancient site because it's not supposed to exist. Earlier this summer, I'm like, let me revisit Göbekli Tepe and see what's new there. And I couldn't believe this. There's a gentleman who's an author and also leads tours, and he communicated with me that they're going to defer a full-scale excavation for, quote, future generations. And I'm like, wait a second. Are you serious? And so I started digging into this and I couldn't believe what I found.
What would be an alternative explanation?
So, okay.
That's what I was talking about the other day, people. That place is owned by a certain organization. Yes, maybe not so good organization if it's an opinion of people that watch this show. And they are stopping the excavation for like 150 years or 100 years, just a lot of years. And why would that be? I don't know. What's going to happen in the next 100 years that is different so they can tell people. What are they hiding? More to the point. Right. End of the show, peeps. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you tomorrow.